With the Shanghai Museum and the Shanghai Biennale drawn to a close, we're heading south on the Pacific to get an international look at the art of Asia at the 7th Asia-Pacific Triennial of Contemporary Art, a joint venture between the Gallery of Modern Art and the Queensland Art Gallery in Brisbane.
We have over 30 exhibitions a year looking at art from all over the world and from all different periods of history. The motto of the gallery is to connect art and people, and one of our major focuses is Australian art, and particularly in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander art.
Featuring new and recent works by 75 senior and emerging artists and groups from 27 countries across the region, the event gives us a comprehensive look at art throughout the continent. Work from Indonesia and Vietnam reflect an exciting period of change rapidly emerging in Southeast Asia, while the depth of Australian Aborigine art represents the earliest roots of art in the dynamics of Australian society.
Timothy Cook is a Tiwi artist from the Tiwi Islands, and Melville Island, which is the island he lives on, is actually Australia's second largest island after Tasmania. So a really large area, which is about 130 kilometres off the coast of Darwin. That area has been quite isolated for a long time, so has a very unique culture and different from just about all of the groups on mainland Australia. The works behind me are painted by Timothy, and they reflect on two of the really important ceremonies in the Tiwi Islands that a lot of the art is based on. This work behind me is Kulama work, which is derived from a ceremony held every year at the time to dig up the yams. And the yams are toxic, so they need to be leached in water for 3 days, and during that 3-day period is when a lot of the ceremonies and marriages and initiation of young men into manhood in particular are held.
Aborigine art is steeped in spirituality and is part of the Earth's oldest culture. But it was also amazing to see Chinese art in the midst of these prestigious exhibitions.
We always select artists who have some sort of link to the overall theme of the APT or to the idea of connection with other people as well.
So this work by Huang Yongping is called Resort, which is a French word meaning spring or a coil, and it's 53 metres long. It's meant to connect the sky and the water, and it's the motif of the snake, which is used a number of times, and it's very apt that it's being shown here in the Year of the Snake. It's a work that really uses a Chinese symbol, but also has resonances for different cultures around the world. And Huang Yongping's work is really about trying to make deep connections between Chinese culture and global culture, and really play with ideas of scale, with ideas of symbolism and meaning, and to really confront us with different emotions, I think, and different feelings through what we experience with his work. So the work behind me is by an artist called Zhu Zhen. It's called Spread, which uses the idea of the collage. What Meidin have done is taken two images, one of a rainbow and one of a forest, and really kind of collapsed them together out of the comic sort of strip images into a three-dimensional sculpture. It's really about the freedom and the openness that's possible in China now, where there's so many different ways that you can make art, there's so many different possibilities to produce art.
Paintings, sculptures, photographs, and installations. The Triennial demonstrates the diversity of contemporary art practiced across every imaginable category and material.
Art has always been really important to Aboriginal people, and people have always used whatever materials were available to them. So in pre-contact times, that was always kind of natural materials. But as soon as different materials were introduced, people started painting in acrylics and using all sorts of found objects in their art as well. So art has always been really about creating works that express the situation that you're living under at that moment, and also using whatever materials are available to you.
Marking the 20th anniversary of the Asia-Pacific Triennial, this year's event presents a chance to reflect on the unprecedented transformations that have occurred in Australia, Asia, and the Pacific over the past 2 decades. Key themes include transforming landscapes, varied engagements with the city, and the adaptability of local cultures in today's globalized world.